Thanks for having me, guys. So just to talk to you a little bit about Christian surfers. So I think you said Christian savings is actually surfers. It's okay. Just for everyone listening. So Christian surfers, it's a bunch. We're a mission organisation to reach the surfers of New Zealand. The mission statement of Christian surfers around the world is that we share the good news of Jesus with surfers, following him together in community and empowering others to do the same. And so we're a mission organisation trying to reach every surfer. And so our vision, long-term goal, is that every surfer and every surfing community has the opportunity to know and follow Jesus. And so this looks like lots of different things in what we do within the ministry, but in a nutshell, we're trying to bring the gospel in front of every surfer of New Zealand. And so Christian Surfers is an international movement now. It's been going for about 45 years now. New Zealand is 39 years. And so there's 33 nations around the world that all have an established Christian Surfers mission. And there's at the moment, there's 100 surfable nations. And then with the wave pools that are popping up inland everywhere, people are surfing lakes, rivers, everything. Our mission is forever growing. And so we have a big task ahead of us of reaching every surfer. So here in New Zealand, I'm privileged to be the national director. We've got 18 local missions, we call them, around New Zealand at the moment. And so a local mission is a group of surfers that love Jesus already, and they make a plan with me with how they can reach the surfers of their community. And this can look like lots of different things. So we've got things from mums and bubs, we call them. So a bunch of mums that would meet on the beach, a little bit like a what would you call it? Like a mainly music maybe. And so a whole bunch of surfers who've got kids would meet on the beach. Half of them would go out surfing because they're by themselves. Half of the crew would look after the grummies, and then they would switch out, and then they'll have spent some time with in prayer and minister to these other women or men, whoever's looking after the kid really. Then we've got young Groms groups, so 8 years to maybe 13 years. So a bunch of surfers who would run a little after school kind of thing. They'll go out surfing, come back for a feed and hot chips, but these guys would then bring the gospel to these group of surfers. Then we've got high school to young adults. So most of them meet weekly. Some of them meet fortnightly or monthly, but it's creating a community that surfers can be invited into. Surfers love to go on road trips, so they're always keen for a ride to a local break they've never been to. And so it's creating a space to bring surfers into a community, and then through those relationships and through the evenings where all the local groups that do meet weekly always share the gospel in some form with these guys. And so it's just presenting the gospel. So nationally, we also have lots of other things that we do from our head office. And so we run big surf comps. We run 2 big ones over the year, 2 parts of the year. And we have big prize money and big sponsors that support the event, which is awesome. But it's all about getting those surfers to the beach to enter a comp. And then at prize giving, the gospel is shared with all these surfers. But because we've got amazing sponsorship and people get really behind this event, we've got a reputation with we call it the Jesus Classic surf comp, and it's got a reputation of having the best waves. And seriously, most times we've had it, Jesus brings the most amazing waves. And to a surfer, a non-believing surfer, or even a surfer who loves Jesus, if there's good waves, everyone's happy. everyone's frothing because, we've obviously got a big variable of wind and waves and everything. And so you book an event well in advance, and then we pray, God, please bring those waves, because if it's flat, the surfers aren't happy. Or we have to cancel it, or it's just not a good event. But we've got a reputation that now, man, God just seriously brings the waves. So it's been pretty amazing. We held a comp in Wellington. Wellington can be very windy and pretty unpredictable. Anyone in Wellington on the call, you'll know. And so we had it in Lyall Bay, and the whole, everyone who was around in Lyall Bay turned up and was just like, oh my goodness, I've never seen such good waves in like 10 years. They said this was the best swell that Lyall Bay had in 10 years. And it timed on a weekend. We needed 2 days to run the comp, and God brought the waves. And so it's called Jesus Classic. So everyone knows it's about Jesus. And so all this secular crew walking around being like, man, someone's answering your prayers, because we don't get waves like this usually in Lyall Bay. And so they were singing and praising the name of Jesus just by seeing how good the waves were. So pretty cool. And so obviously we've got good prize money that brings the best surfers. So it's a very secular comp. And that's what we want. There are Christians who enter, but it's an outreach. And so having big prize money means ideally all the non-Christians are going to come because they want to get the good prize money. But then all of the gospel message is shared at that prize giving. And so the last one we held was in Hotwater Beach in the Coromandel. And we had about 86 different surfers from around the country all turn up, and then their entourage. So they got their family or their sponsors or different. So we probably had 200 people there at prize giving that all heard the gospel, some for the first time, some had heard it before. But yeah, so pretty active in getting that gospel to the surfers. We also run an Easter camp, which obviously just happened over Easter, and we run that in Taranaki, where we really encourage all our local missions around the country who are working with young people or old salts, we call them. We've got a group in Gisborne who are all probably 50 to 70-year-olds who all still surf and love getting out in the water and bring the gospel to that age and stage of surfers. And so there's a real family on mission. And so we encourage all of those groups to try come to this Easter camp and bring people. It's a long weekend. It's a great time for a road trip. And so we had 250 on average, probably, there for every service that we had at Taranaki. And on the Ohakura Beach, we put up a big marquee and have worship and an awesome speaker. But it's all about surfing the awesome breaks and exploring over the weekend. But in the evenings, we have food, which brings everyone in. We have a band, an awesome band that comes and plays for us. And yeah, so it's building community, but bringing the gospel into every stage that we can. And then we run a program we've run for the last 3 years. It's called Sea Salt, which is an acronym for Christian Surfers Aotearoa Leadership Training. So Sea Salt, as it's called. And so it's a 5-month DTS, you could say, a discipleship training school. So right now we've got 8 students who live in a house here in Papamoa on the beachfront. We've got an amazing house that they all come and live in, and it's a program designed for the surfers. And yeah, I kind of asked the question for myself. I said, what did I need as an 18-year-old leaving high school as a surfer, skater? Like, what did I need to really cultivate my faith? Because that's a real turning point for a lot of people, is that kind of stage when they leave school, they're figuring out things, hormones are going crazy to what do I want to do with my life, etc. And so we've created this program to, hopefully be a springboard to wherever God takes these people. And it's amazing to give them the space when they leave home, because everyone needs to leave their parents and figure it out for themselves. So this is a real safe space to come and surf, have it a rad time. They have amazing, they surf all over the place, run awesome camps, but we have amazing speakers that come in every second day and share real biblical stuff with all of these surfers, and real practical sessions as well. How to budget well, they got to all learn how to cook and feed and work together, and living in community. There's 8 of them, and then there's 2 house parents that oversee the house, and then we've got 2 staff that run the day to day. And so we've all got our flaws, we've all got our things, but it's as these things, I suppose, rise to the surface, it's trying to help them manage and work through these things. And so it's been an amazing course. We've run 3 intakes now, and to see the students come out of it, to do life together with a whole bunch of other surfers and skateboarders, being encouraged in their faith for 5 months straight, and then looking at where they're going to go from here. And so it's been super successful. So far, so we've had 3 intakes of minimum of 8 in each intake. One intake we had 10. How are all serving in their local Christian Surfers mission or at a church still today, which is really cool. And obviously it's only 3 years been running, so it'll be interesting to see as time tracks where those guys are. But they're all super active in their faith so far, and hopefully that'll continue. And it's not that we want them have to be involved with Christian Surfers, but it's, man, if we can empower these guys to be an amazing leader wherever they go and follow Jesus and bring others to know God, that's the biggest goal. But it's also, obviously, because I run Christian Surfers, it's epic to be able to have them, in full circle, and then now running a local mission somewhere, which is awesome as well. But so yeah, we also run school-aged surf camps around the country. Lots of different ways of trying to, I suppose, bring the gospel to any surfer. Surfing right now is actually the fastest growing sport in New Zealand. Grew team sports on the low, which is a shame because I love team sports. But I say that because we've got a huge mission field, and it's forever growing. So my prayer points for tonight is that God will bring the gospel to so many surfers and help us to be strategic as a local organisation, how we can do that better. If there's ways that we could do things better, God can download that to us on how we can do that. But also there's so many surfers that I know that have a faith but aren't involved with Christian surfers. And not that every surfer has to be involved with Christian surfers, but who else is the best person to reach a surfer is a surfer, right? And so there's so many surfers who love Jesus but just keep to themselves about their faith. And so if we can pray tonight also for all the surfers of New Zealand who love Jesus, that they would, just have a prompting in their spirit that they can, get off their bums and not just use the surfing for themselves. Nothing wrong with going for a surf by yourself, obviously, but if that's their own thing, that they can be encouraged to, use their love for surfing to bring others to know Jesus in some form. And if that's by giving to CS, if that's by just turning up to an event, or if that's by pioneering a new local mission. And then we are in a really growth space with time right now with, God's really, he is bringing many surfers to know Jesus and lots of new leaders, but me being the national director, and we really feel God's going to continue to grow the ministry at the moment, which is amazing. But just that we have as an organisation, that we don't grow too big before we're ready, and that myself has the capacity, we have the right foundational things as we bring on staff and just all the things that a big organisation. We're going from a very small organisation and we are growing quite rapidly. So I just don't want us to grow too fast and then things fall over because we don't have structures or things. So on a practical note, that'd be awesome for prayer as we grow. that we're ready for that growth as well. So yeah, those three things is just that surfers can come to know Jesus. For one, we can obviously have more leaders put their hand up, and then as we grow, and I saw a question there, how we finance. It's by people just giving, just like they'll give to a church. We are a non-profit, so they do get that 33% back, which is awesome, but it's just people giving small amounts. And there are some big trusts that give us some money every now and then, which is amazing. But I think the growth, financially and in prayer, well, the biggest thing I think is the prayer, because we've got so many people giving small amounts at the moment, but these people also pray, and it's amazing to be on this call with all of you guys now. And we're all going to be praying soon, which is amazing. I feel super honoured to have all you guys praying for us and the surfers. But for all those people who give little bits, they also, when they see our email updates or things, they're praying for us. And I really think that's the success of CS at the moment, is because we've got this massive crew behind us praying. With me being the national director, I kind of wished at one stage, I was like, man, if only someone would just give us like a couple $1 million, then we'd be sorted. But I actually wouldn't say that now. Obviously, if there's someone out there who wants to give us, we're not going to say no. But I really feel like it's those people giving the little bits who are praying for us. If we got someone giving us a whole bunch of money, that one person still might pray, but not as much as all the individuals who pray way more. And so I probably wouldn't change it now. And so I'm just so thankful for you guys for praying. And it's super encouraging. I heard a little bit about how it started, this prayer chain, and that is just how cool when God, the enemy comes in with the whole COVID thing, you guys turn it around for good and be like, cool, let's get together and online and pray, and it's just like, man, I love how God uses things that aren't so good in the world and just turn it all around for good, and that's the King that we serve, So it's pretty amazing, guys. So honor all of you guys who are on this faithfully, and thanks for Corey Moody for inviting me in and giving me a space to share. So thanks for all your prayers. I'm not sure if I'll see all of you, so thank you guys. I'm in Papamoa, as I think it says under my name. So if you're ever in this neck of the woods or hear of Christian surfers, one, come say hi, but also keep us in your prayers. If you're ever at the beach and you're seeing the waves, maybe send a prayer and say, God, bring more surfers to know Jesus, because it's a massive mission field. So appreciate all your time, guys. And that's all for me, I think.